Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. I persisted doing one word a day for this is my fifth year. So you see, season five. I've done thousands of videos. I cannot believe it, but I'm loving it. I hope you enjoy it too. I hope it can bring all of us some perspective as to language because Chinese is such an oddball, so to speak, compared with all the rest of the major languages out there that's sound based. We are visual based, logographical. And I'm glad to share how Chinese operates to only a certain level. Okay, so this is a background. Somebody took a random picture in China on street, and this is Peking opera, the face mask. So Chinese in Peking opera do this characterization of characters. Just by the way they paint the face, you can tell if a good person, bad person. So simplification for the audience to identify character from the start just by the look of the character. So that has been, I guess, an important cultural feature or cultural tradition. Actually, it's only a few hundreds of years old compared with all the other traditions, like language we're talking about. This is relatively new. Anyways, so new year, welcome to 2025. And let's dive in. So in the new year, I'm going to organize the contents a little bit different. So I would do the characters in the sequence of possibly most likely when the character was created. Because the more I have been doing it, the more I realize it's language as complicated as any language, especially Chinese, that we have the look, right? We have to draw a picture of the rain, and then we have the sound. It sounds like yu, right? Because we have both visual, the written, and the audio, the verbal communication. So have two sides of it versus phonetic languages. Audio is enough, and the visual will just look like what would be pronounced, right? Even if the English got sometimes weird pronunciations, but for the most part, what you hear is what you're going to see on the paper. So different for Chinese. So I would start from what most likely to be Paleolithic era. That's the early, like the dawn of civilization. That's the early age when humans start to develop ways, try to capture what's in the environment, what's about themselves, how they would operate and conceptualize the world we live in, right? Languages is created by the people for the people, all right? And we are still talking about it today and using it for today. So I'm glad to open the whole year with the character rain because it's water. Humans are water based on this watery planet. And this is an important cycle to have water move from somewhere, right? The whole circulation of atmosphere. And that's the essential element for our existence. And watching movies like Interstellar, when we imagined environment in other planet, not every planet is like Earth at all. They may not have the rain that we, Earthlings are so used to and took for granted in a certain way, right? So rain as the life force or nutrients for humans and all the other living beings deserves, to be the front runner of this ancient language that try to capture the elements out there essential for the civilization's survival. So rain today. 雨 is how Chinese pronounce it, and how Chinese visualize it, conceptualize it, is by having this top frame. So we have this kind of a box shape as the frame, right? Each frame is like a picture. Top frame, horizontal line, means the sky, the outer limit of our existence. Visually, visible to our own naked eye. way before we have telescopes and all that fancy tools. So this is to the naked eye, however far we can see. That's horizontal line. But people already conceptualize that, right? Like probably there are things beyond that, but that's our upper bound, the limit. Now, vertical line here shows the connection between that visible but untouchable limit of our existence. There is this connection from up there down to the ground. And this is drawn from the perspective of earthlings. We stay on the ground. And then this big arch thing is the space. To give you a sense of, we're talking about the rain, not just a small area, but fill out the whole space for us, right, from our perspective. And then these four little horizontal lines. Okay, when Chinese repeat an element visually 4 times, it's probably in the magnitudes of exponentially magnitudes. It's not just four in one dimension. It's like times like e to the fourth, or however the big number that is. So when we repeat something 4 times, that means many, many, many of those. So the whole image talks about the connection between the biosphere, the atmosphere out there, to people on the ground. And we have these little droplets, many, many of those fill out the space. That's our outer condition of existence. And of course, later on, this one we're talking about a Paleolithic. Okay, when we talk about that, that's before agriculture was the norm. So this was still hunter-gatherer society era. So still at that time, people would be aware of rain versus shine, right? All that natural elements. But the rain would be even more significant to our own existence for agrarian society. That's later on. Okay, so commonly used expressions containing rain, 风雨同舟. Okay, I have a little translation. When I'm doing the translations, they kind of crack me up because Chinese have the set phrases. I've done these phrases in the past 4 years, and they are enjoyable because it's a transverse from one culture to another culture. And I try to map 1 to 1, even if Chinese characters may have multiple meanings, but in this context, every character has a specific meaning. I pin it down like this. 风雨同舟 is a Chinese way to say, okay, we are together. We are in this together. It's the most equivalent contemporary English expression. It's rain or shine, we're together. But Chinese didn't have the shine part, where they're saying, even if it's windy, even if it's rainy, it's bad weather condition, right? In our today's standards, bad weather, probably for cavemen as well, it's bad weather. And we're on the same boat. Well, this is not from the Paleolithic era, because obviously we have the boat technology in here. That's later days. But 风雨同舟 in this expression is how Chinese express we're on the same boat. That means if we flip, if we capsize, everybody dies, right? So we are in this together, literally. We use the boat, almost like the Ark's boat. That is the survival situation. Okay, we use the boat. Okay, 呼风唤雨 is we're going to call the wind and to evoke the rain. Okay, obviously this is a superpower. This expression is saying somebody is so, I guess, politically, socially, economically, financially, in today's standards, is so well networked that it's going to change the local ecosystem or the weather condition, so to speak, like a weather influencing lots of people's lives, as if that person has the superpower to ask to have a switch on and off, to call the wind to come, to call the rain to come. I mean, weather control back then probably was not I don't know if there are, people in ancient times who can, scam people. I'm pretty sure there could be that claim to have such superpower because if you can control the weather, which is kind of essential for existence, and then that's a kind of a highly desirable superpower. And we later on use this not mean it doesn't mean weather control, and it means a societal structural control. So in today's political environment, probably that means somebody is so powerful, it's going to change the weather for you. All right. 汗如雨下 is describing somebody sweating so heavily. It's almost like a rainfall. And I find Chinese use rainfall, 雨下, mapped very nicely to the English expression of rainfall. When I'm speaking, hearing this expression, 汗如雨下, I never, connect with the rainfall, have this motion. Because rainfall by itself, we are going to picture the rainfall, the rain. But because when I learn 汗如雨下, I'm imagining the sweating. So I'm imagining the sweating almost like dripping down your face or your skull, right? Like dripping. And then I didn't picture the rainfall part until I translated English. And then this imagine how much you sweat as if the rain is fallen to that level of density, that level of how to say getting your body's response to either heat or heavy workout. That's how Chinese exaggerate. Of course, like we're not going to sweat as if it's a rainfall. We're not the weather. Weather is all out there. Our micro weather probably don't create as much. Like we cannot sweat as fast as the rainfall. But that's how Chinese push to the extreme, right? Exaggeration in Chinese expression to show how much sweaty you get. All right, so there you go, rain. And I hope you enjoy this year's format. I have more Paleolithic expressions coming up. See you next day.